Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm William. Today we'll be going through the math paper from grade 5 from the Singapore Anglo-Chinese school. This is the exam from the first semester. Okay, so before we started, I will also suggest you to download the paper. You'll find a link in the information box. I'll suggest you to download the paper and try to do it by yourself, and then we will go through the paper together. So today I will be doing the booklet B from paper 1, and then don't forget to give me a thumb up and also subscribe the channel if you haven't. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get started. Okay, question 16. Find the value of 6 times 8 plus bracket 10 minus 7 close bracket divide by 3. Okay, so I will underline the part which we need to do first. So when you see a calculation with the brackets and the plus, minus, and also times and divide together, okay, the first thing you do is always do the bracket first. Okay, so you do this first. So 6 times 8 plus, and then brackets. You do the brackets first, which 10 minus 7 is 3, and then divide by 3. And then what's the next thing you should do is the multiplication and the divide first. So 6 times 8 is 48 plus 3 divided by 3 is 1. So the answer will be 49. Okay, so this should be quite straightforward. Let's move on to question 17. Find the value of 18 times 5 over 8. Okay, give your answer in a mixed number in the simplest form. Okay, so 18 times 5 divided by 8. Okay, so this is quite straightforward. So you times the top. 18 times 5 equals to 90 divided by 8. You will be able 90 have a the last digit is 0, which is an even number, and then 8 is also an even number. So you will be able to know this. They have a common factor of 2. So you will be able to simplify into 2. So 90 divided by 2 is 45. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, 45 and 4, they don't have a common factor. So the answer is 45 over 4. And then you can convert this into so 45 divided by 4 will be, if you do that quickly, divided by 4 will be 11. It should be quite straightforward. So it's will be 11, and then the remaining is 4 with the 4. Remainder is 1 with the 4 at the bottom. So the answer is 11 and a quarter. Okay. Let's move on to question 18. The perimeter of a square is 36 meters. What's the area of the square? Okay, a square. What's the definition of a square? Square means all 4 sides of the square is equal. So if you want to know the length of the side, you can divide by 4. So you took the perimeter, divide by 4, which equals to 9. So this is 9 here, and this is 9 here. 9 meter and 9 meter each. And what's the area of the square? So how do you get the area? Area, you took the side times the other side, which is 81. So the answer is 81 meter square. Okay, so this should be quite straightforward. Let's move on to question 19. The figure below, the base of triangle BMC is MC, which is here. Which line is the height of triangle BMC? Okay, you see a lot of lines here and a lot of different shapes. So basically you are looking for this shape here, BMC. Okay, and you can also see here there is a line which is perpendicular to the base MC. So how do you find the height of a triangle? The height of triangle is the line from one tip of the one of the angle and go perpendicular to the base of the line. So basically it's from here and go perpendicular to this line here. Okay, and you can see this line here is the same as the line here in AM. So which line will be the height of the triangle BMC? The answer will be So especially if the base is MC, then the answer will be AM. Okay. If the base is BM here, if the base is BM here, you can also say that CN is also the base. But now since it says the base is MC, so you're trying to find a line which is go perpendicular to the base MC and go to the other go to the top of the other angle, which is angle B. So there will be the line of AM. Okay. Question 20. Dave and Eric share some sweets in a ratio of 11 to 7. Eric have 84 sweets. How many sweets do they have altogether? Okay, so Dave and Eric ratio is 11 to 7 equals to Dave is in the front and Eric is at the back, equals to, we don't know how much sweets does Dave has, but we know Eric has 84. Okay, so how do you do a calculation of ratios? Basically, you multiply the products of the inner two number will be the same as the product of the other the number at the outside. So 7 times square equal 11 times 84. So 7 times square equals to 11 times 84. So 84 times 11, 84, 4, 2, 9. So 924. 7 times square equals to 924. Square equals to 924 divided by 7. 1, 7, 9 minus 7 is 2. We put down the 2. 22 divided by 7, 3. 21, 14, 2, 14 here. So the answer is 132. Okay, so Dave have 132. But what is the question asking? The question is asking how many sweets do they have together. So Dave have 132 plus Eric has 84. So the answer is 216. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question 21. Mrs. Dawson bakes some cupcakes. If she packs them equally into a box of 4, she would have 42 boxes. If she packed them equally into box 6, how many boxes would she have? Okay, so they pack in the box of 4. So every box have 4, and totally there are 42 boxes. So you multiply 42 by 4, then you will get the answer of how many cupcakes in total. So this will be 168. Okay, so 168. Now if you pack in the box of 6, so you took the total number of cupcakes divided by 6, which will give you 168 divided by 6, 2, 12, 48, 28, 8 here. Okay, so it will be 28 boxes. So the answer will be 28. Okay, this should be quite straightforward. Let's move on to question 22. Rita spent one quarter of her money on food and 2/5 of her money on transport. She had 84 left. How much money did she have at first? Okay, so that's how much money Rita has, and then you spend 1/4 here, and you spend 2/5 here, and then whatever she is left is 84. Okay, so let's figure out. So let's assume its total is 1. So let's figure out how much money did she spend in total. So 1/4 plus 2/5. How do you do addition of a fraction? You change the bottom. Let's go back. You change the bottom to be the common factor, which the common multiples, which is 20. Okay, so 4 becomes 20. You need to times 5. So the top also times 5, and then the bottom 5 become 20. You times 4. So the top also times 4, which will give you 8, and then there will be 13. sorry. So it will be 13 over 20. Okay, so that means the remaining is 1 minus 13 over 20 equals to 7 over 20. Okay, so 7 over 20 equals to 24. So assuming the total money she has is x, so 7 over 20 times x equals to 24, then x equals to 84 divided by 7 over 20. And how did you do a calculation of that? Is that you took the 84 in the front, you don't change, and then you change divide into times, and then you flip the fraction. So 7 over 20 become 20 over 7, and then if you count the 7 and the 84 will be able to simplify each other. So you divide by 7 here, and you divide by 7, which will give you 12, and then 12 times 20 will become 240. So the total money she has in the beginning is 240. Okay, so the tricky part here is you need to read the question. So she spent 1/4 of the money, and then she spent 2/5 of the money, not from the remainder, but from the same amount of money. So you can find out how much money she actually spent. So 1/4 plus 2/5 equals to 13 over 20. So 13 over 20 she spent, then the remaining is 1 minus 13 over 20, which is 7 over 20, and then 27 over 20 part of the total money equals to 84, and then the rest you just do the calculation of the fraction. Okay, so that will give you the answer of 240. Okay, let's move on to question 23. The bar graph shows the number of students playing 4 different types of musical instruments during a concert. Each student plays only one type of instrument, so 1/5 of the student play violin. Draw the bar shows the number of students. Okay, I think from the question they probably already show you the answer, but how do we do the calculation? So they are talking about 1/5 of the student play violin. Okay, so let's check how much. So that means 4/5 of the student play everything else. Okay, so let's assume totally there are X amounts of students. So that means 4/5x of the number of the student play everything else. So let's check how much was what's the number of the other students which play all the other instruments other than violin. So for flutes is 18, for ukulele is 22, and then for harmonica, I don't know what's that, but for harmonica is 16. So these will add up to 40 plus 16, so 56. So 4/5x equal to 56. So x will equals to 56 divided by 4/5, and then same as last question, 56 times, you just flip the fraction, so 5/4. 56 and 4 you can simplify by 4, so this will give you 14, and then 14 times 5 will give you 70. So total number of students is 70, and then the student who play all the other instrument is 56. So 70 minus 56, that will give you 14, and that's why here it shows the violin. The number of students who do violin is 14. Okay. Obviously, I think when the people who upload the paper kind of forgot to erase this off. But anyway, that's how you calculate the answer. Okay. Let's move on to question 24. Measure and write down the size of angle XYZ. Okay, angle XYZ, you always put the angle in the middle. So XYZ is this angle here, and you need to measure it. Okay, so I don't have the tools here with me. It will look like it's more or less about around plus minus 45 degrees. Okay, but if you have the tool, just measure the angle and then you can write down. But just know which one you need to measure. So XYZ is the angle. Y is in the middle, so that means they want to measure the angle close to Y. Okay, so that should be the right angle to measure. Okay. Okay. $5,456 is shared among Alice, Betty, and Carol. Okay, it's always ABC. Alice, Betty, and Carol in the ratio of 5-4-2. How much more money does Alice have more than Betty? Okay, so 5-4-2. That means the number was the money was split into how many portions? So 5 plus 4 equals 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. So that means the money was split into 11 portions. So how do we find out how much was that? So you took the total amount of money divided by 11, then you will know how much was one portion. So 5, 4, 5, 6 divided by 11. This is 4, 44, 105, 9, 99, 6. You put down the 6 equal to 66, 0. So every portion is 496. Okay, you can go ahead and use the number to multiply by 5, by 4, by 2. Then you will figure out how much money does each of the Alice, Betty, and Carol has. But the question is not asking for that. The question was asking how much more money Alice have more than Betty. Okay, so Alice have 5 portions, and then Betty have 4 portions. So 5 minus 4 equals to 1. Means Alice have 1 portion more than Betty. And then we also calculate every portion is 496. So Alice have 1 portion more than Betty. Thus the answer is 496 times by 1. Well, you can still write that just to show that you know the answer. But otherwise the answer is quite straightforward, 496. Okay, let's move on to question 26. 2 whole numbers add up to 639. Okay, pay attention, it's an odd number. What's the smallest difference between the two numbers? Write down these two numbers. Okay, so if 2 numbers add up together as an odd number, then that means the 2 numbers was right next to each other. Okay, then what will be the smallest gap? The smallest gap will be 1. Okay, so for example, if the number is 1 and 2, so the number add up together will be 3, which is the odd number. But if the number is an even number, then that means the 2 numbers, the closest together is they will have a gap as a 2. So for example, 2 and 4, it will add up to as 6. Okay, so this will be an even number. But when the numbers are right next to each other, then it's because they are asking for the smallest difference. So when you are asking for smallest difference between 2 numbers, either the numbers are the same, or the number are like they have 1 in between each other. Okay, so if the number is an even number, they also could be the 2 number was identical. Okay, but since these 2 numbers add up as an odd number, that means one of the number is an odd number, and then the other number must be an even number. So the 2 numbers add up together will be an odd number. So what will be the smallest difference between them? The smallest difference between them, since they are not the same number, it's not possible for them to be the same number because they add up as an odd number. So the smallest difference between them will be 1. And then what are these numbers? Okay, so one of the number is square, and then the second number will be square plus 1 because it's 1 bigger. So you add them together, it will be 639. So the 2 square will equals to 638. Then you just took 638 divided by 2, which will give you 319. Okay, so the first number will be 319, and then the second number will be 319 plus 1, which is 320. Okay, so the number will be 319 and 320. Okay, so the question is all about if you add the 2 numbers together, what will be the smallest gap and what will be the biggest gap? If they're asking for the biggest gap, then obviously one of the number could be 1 or 0, because it says it's a whole number. Actually, for the whole number, It can be negative as well, but I don't know if you learned already about the negative number. But that's why the question is not asking for the biggest gap, but rather asking for a smallest gap. So that means the number are either the same number or they are like right next to each other. Because they are whole numbers, so there will be no fraction and there will be no decimals. Okay. So this question is more about the concept of about the whole number, and if you can visualize the number was right next to each other, and also if the sum is an odd number, that means one of the number is an odd number and the other number is an even number. Okay. Let's move on to question 27. Keith spent 1/5 hour watching television program, and then he spent 1/3 hour more. Okay, more is a key word. Okay, 1/3 hours more to take his lunch than watching television program. How long did he spend on both watching television program and the lunch? Okay, so how long did he take? So we know he watched TV. He took 3/5, and then for lunch is 3/5 plus 1/3. Right, that's how much he spent to eat the lunch. Okay, and then if this is how much time he spent to eat lunch, and then now we also want to know how much time he spent on both. Okay, so you want to add another you want to add another 3/5 because that's how much this is lunch and this is TV. Okay, so how do you add them together? You need to find the common multiples. So at the bottom you have 5 and 3. So what are the common multiples of 5 and 3, which is 15. Okay, so you convert everything into 15 and you add them together. So from 5 to 15 you times by 3. And whatever you times by 3 at the bottom, you times the 3 at the top. So this will become 9. The 3 become 15, you times by 5. So the top you also times by 5. So it will give you a 5. And then here, the last one, 5 changed to 15. So the top also become 9. Okay. And then if you add them together, the bottom is the same 15. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 plus 9 is 23. So in total, it's 23/15. They want the answer as a mixed number, so it will be 8/15. It should be quite straightforward, so I will not explain how do you convert from the from the fraction to the mixed numbers. Okay, so the answer will be 1/8/5. Okay. 8/15. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Question 28. Find the area of triangle ABD. Okay, so triangle ABD. How do you find the area of a triangle? You need a base and you need a height, and then divide by 2 or times half. Okay, so what is the base? Base is if you can see AD can be the base of triangle ABD. So base is 50. Times height. Okay, so if AD is your base, then you find a perpendicular line to the third angle, and then to the perpendicular to the base. So this will be the height of the triangle, which is 18, and then you times by half. Okay, this should be quite straightforward. 50 times 18, it will give you 900 times half, and then the calculation will give you 450. So I will not show the detail of the calculation, but you can check it by yourself. Okay, I think the dimension of the BCD was just there to confuse you. Obviously, the CD can also be the base. Can be the height of the triangle ABD as well, but you don't know what is the length of AB, so you won't be able to do the calculation. Of course, if you have learned the Pythagoras, you will be able to do the calculation, but I think that could be too complicated for grade 5. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question 29. Mayor bought 2 apples and 2 orange at $2.2. The total cost of 4 apple and 3 oranges is $3.9. So how much is 1 orange cost? Okay, so 2 apple plus 2 orange equals to 2.2, and then 4 apple plus 3 orange equals to $3.90. Okay, so what you can do is you try to eliminate one of the we call variable. So you either try to get rid of apple or you try to get rid of orange. Okay, so in this case we can try to get rid of apple. So from here, from the first clue, you can multiply the whole thing by 2. Why? Because then the 2 apple will become the 4 apple plus 4 orange equals to so everything times by 2, so the last number also times by 2, which is 4.4. And if you compare these two lines, 4 apple plus 3 orange is 3.9. 4 apple plus 1 extra orange is 4.4. Okay, so if you took 4.4 minus 3.9, the difference is the price of 1 orange, which is $0.5. Okay. Yep, so it's quite straightforward. And alternatively, you can try to get 1 apple plus 1 orange equals to $1.1, and then you try to times by 4 or times by 3, and then you can either get rid of apple or get rid of orange from the second clue. Okay, so it should be quite straightforward. Question 30. The diagram below made up of squares. Shade 3 more squares to complete the diagram, so the dotted line AB is the line of symmetry. So the definition of line of symmetry means on the different side of the line, the pictures looks identical. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's go and check one by one. So here you have a box, and then you have a box. That's fine. You have a box here, so that's the first box with a color. You have another box here, so that's the second box with your color. You have a box here, then you have a box here, that's fine. You have a box here, then you have a box here, it's also fine. And this two is also fine, and this one is this one here. So that's the third box we need to cover. And then the last one here is fine because we have another box here. So this will be the 3 boxes we need of the square we need to color to make it a symmetrical diagram. Okay. Okay. This will be the end of booklet B. In the different video, I will continue to work on the booklet 2. It's a much longer paper. I might do it in one video, or I might do it in the second video. Okay. The time I'm recording this video is about April, so that's still about another month or 2 before everyone writes the exam for the first semester. So I will try to do a little bit more videos before the exam, so everyone have a chance to watch the video. And if you have any particular question in front any of the paper you are doing, do feel free to leave a comment or leave me a comment or a question. I can specifically make a video just for that particular question. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll try to update more video as much and as soon as I can. Alright, as usual, I want to thank you for your support. I'm sorry this time it took me a while to make a new video, but I will continue to make more videos for grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6, and hopefully this will help you with your math exam. Alright, thank you very much. Take care. Bye.